Canada, we divide up government into different branches. The Parliament is where we write the laws, and the courts are where those laws are implemented, especially in matters like criminal justice. Well, a couple of years ago, Parliament passed a law jacking up something called the Victim Fine Surcharge. It's basically if a criminal is caught and tried and convicted and sentenced, they will have to pay just a few bucks, not a ton, maybe $100 or so, to a victim services that will help victims cope with the trauma of being victimized. It's not actually even about the money, it's the symbolism about the criminal having to pay something to the victim. And this was passed by Canada's Parliament. It is now the law of the land. But some judges, some extremist judges, and why can't I call a judge an extremist? Why should someone in that branch of government be free from criticism? We criticize people in Parliament all the time. What else would you call a judge who is so extremist that they are refusing to implement this victim fine surcharge? Let me give you an extreme example, and you'll see why I use the word extreme. There's a provincial court justice named Colin Westman in Kitchener, Ontario, who in a type of strike, work to rule disobedience campaign, was issuing victim fine surcharges as low as 30 cents. Do you see what I'm saying? He was saying to the criminal, well, I guess I gotta make you pay a fine, so 30 cents. Clearly defying Parliament. He's a judge, but he clearly doesn't want to follow the laws written by Parliament. He wants to both write the laws and then implement only the laws that he likes. Now, a higher level judge in Ontario named Justice Bruce Glass of the Ontario Court in Cobourg issued a ruling that these victim fine surcharges were appropriate. They were not unconstitutional. But that's not good enough for Justice Westman. Let me quote what he told the Globe and Mail. He said, "Initially, I thought it was a way of dissing the system, but I feel comfortable now in certain circumstances." So even though higher courts have said this law is legal, it's constitutional, it's appropriate, you have Justice Westman blabbing to reporters that he is undermining the courts from within, and he's not even shy about saying this. There were two other Ontario judges that had the understanding of how inappropriate they were. They only spoke to the Globe and Mail off the record. This is an insight into the mind of an extremist judge. Wishes Parliament didn't write a law. Disobeys higher courts that say this law is constitutional. Says he's doing it as an act of disobedience. I know what it would be like if an ordinary person walked into a court and said, "I'm going to diss the court. I'm going to diss the system." They'd be cited for contempt of court by the judge. Well, what do you do when the one showing contempt is the judge? For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.